No. Anyway, I'm going to talk about affordability today. I'm going to show you the top 10 places to live in Canada. And while the capitalists want to blame the socialists, I'm going to show you that the problem is the capitalists. All right, first up, Zolo released the best places to live in Canada in 2025. They ranked them based on that stuff. Top of the list, Guelph. Hey, look at that. London St. Thomas came in at number 7. I'm sure the haters will get in the comments and talk about any of these cities, because that's what haters do. Haters hate and vote conservative. All right, let's talk about affordability for a second. Forget a recession. What Canadians are living through is worse. Basically, everything is expensive and they ain't getting paid. And this from the Financial Post: is lifelong renting becoming the new normal? Data on the typical Canadian renter suggests we're heading that way because they're not getting paid and therefore they can't buy a house. Now, in the US, they're passing a bill condemning the horrors of socialism, because that's the problem. Socialism. God, how many times I hear some nitwit tell me that the problem is socialism. Socialism is unions. And I know there's going to be some nitwit saying that unions are a terrible thing. Unions are why you have a weekend. Unions are why you get paid overtime. Unions are why you get paid at all. And socialism is essentially unions. You know, you don't want the government to take over things. You want the people working to control things. Like realtors. Yeah, I love to remind realtors that we're essentially socialists or communists, if you will, because realtors govern themselves. The laws on the books for realtors are all created by real estate organizations. Do you know how many realtors will argue with me and say, no, it's not the way it is? Yeah, that's the way it is. Read a book. I want to remind everybody the problem is not socialism. The problem is capitalism. I'm going to use Japan as an example. This is from 2019. How Japan has fared in 30 years since the stock market bubble burst. This is Japan's CPI. There was bubbly things happening up until 1990, and then their stock market collapsed. See, prices rose very, very rapidly. There was a lot of borrowing happening, and then it all blew up. It blew up so big, they couldn't be bailed out. They haven't recovered yet. See, because the flip side of inflation is that debt becomes less valuable. Let's step through this again with a hypothetical property. Let's say you have a $100,000 house, okay? 50% is yours, 50% is on a mortgage. So a $50,000 mortgage. Let's say you don't pay off any of that debt, but the house doubles in value. So now you have a $200,000 house, and you still have $50,000 of debt on that house. That's only a quarter. Let's say it doubles again, becomes a $400,000 house, and there's still $50,000 worth of debt. That's 12.5%. So if the money gets loaned out way too fast, you get a bubble happening, and then it goes pop. And then there's no more lending. What made that happen? Richard Nixon. I keep talking about the Nixon shock. They call it the Nixon shock for a reason. August 15th, 1971. This is when the US came off the gold standard and started printing money willy-nilly. Here's the history of the Consumer Price Index for Canada. Can you find the Nixon shock on this chart? If you said right there at the corner, you'd be correct. Same thing happened to the US. Same thing happened everywhere around the world. Oh, the problem is the prices. The problem is the prices. The problem is that you ain't getting paid. Here's average wages in Canada. There's the Nixon shock. You'll notice that the turnaround is not quite as sharp as it is with the CPI, and the growth of the chart is nowhere near as steep. Also, there's a lot of big movements in here. Wages seem to have gone down in this period of time. Huh? Prices didn't move the same way, did they? I am certain that Richard Nixon is not a socialist. And property is money. That's why money exists. Money exists because it's easier to transact in money than in property. The problem is not property prices going up, because prices ain't going to stop going up. Well, unless there's a massive debt bubble. But I haven't heard of anything like that at the moment. And I am certain that wrong photo, that these people will keep telling you that the problem is socialism. The problem is that you're getting paid too much. What do you think? Do you think the problem is that you're getting paid too much? Is that what you think the problem is? Do you think if we just stopped paying people that prices would come down? Do you think?